To come to Sumay is like returning home.
Sister Bernadette Quintanilla is a World War II survivor and a former resident of the ancestral village of Sumay. She and a dozen or so other families around this time of the year attend a special Catholic Mass that pays tribute to the dead and those that survived World War II at the Sumay Cemetery. Quintanilla was 9 years old when she left her village. She says her mom, Ingracia Cruz Quintanilla, was buried in this cemetery before the war began. In 1940, her father, Jose Cruz Quintanilla, left Guam to work for Pan Am. And when the war began, he didn't know if she and her siblings were alive.
When he was in Honolulu working for Pan Am, he didn't know that we were alive. And we didn't know that he was alive. There was no communication during the Japanese time.
Quintanilla's grandmother and aunt took care of her and her brothers as they had to adapt to a Japanese way of life until Guam was liberated 68 years ago. Like Quintanilla, 78-year-old Juan Guzman is also a war survivor. He visits this cemetery when the U.S. military allows it because his grandmother and sister are buried there.
Well, Sumay means a lot to me because I was born here and raised for 7 years until the invasion of the Japanese.
He feels it is important to return to Sumay Cemetery because it is the last visible part of his village before it was used to become Naval Base Guam.
And this is the only remaining marks of our village that was taken away by the U.S. government. It's not only the U.S. government, but we have been evicted by the Japanese. Then in 1944, the United States government condemned the place to use for Navy base.
The village of Santa Rita may be the current home for most of Sumay's population, but for Quintanilla and Guzman, they will never forget Sumay or the people buried in its cemetery.
People of Guam are very, very close to their deceased, their dead people. And so coming over here is like revitalizing our spirit with our dead members of the family. So it's wonderful to be here and rejuvenate our spirit with our deceased people.
We'll never forget Sumay, especially those of us that were born here. Maybe we lost our village, but Sumay is still in our heart.
Josh Dukanko, PNC News.